Hey everyone, this is Ray Stendel, publisher of Customer Engagement Magazine and the author of the Customer Engagement Manifesto. In this video, we're going to go over and take a look at the current assessment, which is really the first phase of our four-phase model. Within this phase, we have really two key areas that we need to consider. One is the present condition that you're in right now, and number two is the future condition that you want to be in moving forward. In order for us to get to where you want to go, we have to be really clear on where you are now, ask some thought-provoking and intelligent questions, and set the context and the tools and the processes and everything we need to do in motion to get us to where we want to be. So the first step I want you to go through is and where I put this more in the tactics and tools section, is some thought-provoking questions that can help you figure out where you are. So the first question is, what is your current process today to get new leads? Really think about that. What's your current process today to get new leads? Think about all the different sources of traffic that you get, that you have, how you capture those leads. And then the second question is, how do you nurture them today? You can think of nurturing as nutrition. Right? In the physical world, we need to eat. We need to be able to eat and get nutrients into our body. So nutrition and eating food is a way for us to grow and expand and mature. So when I say nurturing, my question is, how are you nurturing your prospects to help them move through the process, their buying cycle, to ultimately be in a position to want to work with you? So nurturing, by definition, involves value addition. It's not just about being able to share a bunch of marketing messages, right? So let me ask you, how do you do that today? And if you don't have a great answer for these two questions, be happy that you're getting the awareness to prioritize this in your business. So don't be too super conscious. If you don't have a good answer, just write down you're not doing anything right now, or you're doing a little bit and this is what you're doing. Now, after you go through this few steps, now the next question is, what is your exact sales process today to go from somebody who's a qualified prospect all the way through to a paying customer? So notice I said a qualified prospect. That means that they have already been experienced to your offer. They know how much you pay, how much you charge. They have money available to solve the problem and a desire to solve it through working with someone like yourself. So we're now talking about taking them from that stage all the way through to going through your sales process to actually becoming a customer. Okay, here's the next question, number 4. How frequently do you communicate with your subscriber base, your list, your customers? I really like to find out from you, because if you have a list of customers that you're not in communication with, or you are in communication really rarely, those relationships start to unwind and get into a position where you have a cold group of customers. So the question was about frequency. Are you sending out a newsletter once a month? Are you in communication via email? Do you send any direct mail to them? Do you call them? How often do you do it? Now, from an internet marketing standpoint, one of the beauties of internet marketing is that we're able to track a variety of metrics. So when you send an email, you should be able to take a look at and know what your click-through rates are. How many people out of every 100 that you communicate with, or if you communicate with 10, how many people out of 10 click on the link that you sent to them? These are metrics you want to be keeping track of. In addition to this, you want to be looking at your conversion metrics. And by conversion, we're talking about being able to be converted from one stage of a process to the next stage of the process. Ultimately, we want to know the conversion metrics for how you capture leads. So let me give you an example. Let's suppose that you have a lead page. You're using a tool where you are giving away some value. Maybe it's a free report about what you do. Let me give you an example here, more specifics. Let's suppose that you are an attorney or a doctor, and you have a very specific area of focus in how you help your clients. Well, one of the best types of lead magnets is a buyer's guide that helps somebody understand the ins and outs of what it is you do, answers frequently asked questions, helps them understand what it is they need to know to make an informed buying decision. If you are in a different space, let's suppose you're in the author expert space, then you might be giving away an ebook which shares some of your thinking. You might be giving away a video where you train somebody about a certain aspect of the solution that maps to their problem. The basic point is that in order for you to capture names and email addresses almost like out of the ether, like this, you need to have something to offer. If you don't have something to offer, you're not going to be able to capture names and email addresses and ultimately be able to follow up with people in a very high integrity, high quality manner. So the question I asked you here was all about conversion metrics, because I'd like to know if you know how well your opt-in pages are converting. That means if you send traffic, let's suppose you put an ad in a newspaper or an ad in a magazine, or you advertise on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you get people to come to your lead page, how many people actually give you their name and their email addresses? And finally, from a conversion standpoint, we also want to look at conversion in terms of sales. How many people are subjected to and benefit from your marketing and actually buy versus don't buy? So now let's go on to the next question. Do you factor in prospect behavior and consumption into your marketing campaigns? So that's a bunch of fancy words to basically say, do you treat people differently, function of what they do? In marketing automation circles, there is a line of logic that's called if-then. If you do this, I do this. If you open my email and click on a link, I send you the next email. If you don't, I send you a reminder email to take a look at what I sent you before. This is a very elementary example, but it shows you the difference of how you can treat people differently, function of their behavior. And the level of sophistication available today is quite incredible in terms of being able to do this type of analysis and tracking where you treat people differently, function of what it is that they do, and how you're able to effectively tag them and to continue having a very customized personal experience for them. So now, after we've asked this question, the next one is, what are your long-term nurture strategies to keep your list warm, to keep your customer set warm? Remember earlier on I said that if you don't communicate with your community, they start to die down and they don't have a very warm feeling towards you because you haven't been in content. You know, haven't been present. See, we need to really consider how present are we in the marketplace, how present are we with prospects and customers, and based on being present and adding value and being around and showing up is the way in which you start to build a relationship online. It's really how you build a relationship anywhere. If you don't show up, you can't build a relationship all by yourself. So now if we continue this logic of questions, think about the amount of revenue that you've generated for your business and how much of that revenue you can tie to the marketing activities you've done. There's that old expression that you spend a lot of money on marketing and 50% of your marketing is working and 50% of your marketing is not working, and the problem is you don't know which 50% to focus on. Well, that's a big problem because that doesn't allow you to scale in terms of being able to know that if I spend this much money on my marketing, I'm going to get this much money on the output. And that involves a lot of tracking in order for you to successfully do that. The next question that I would like you to think about is, how engaged are your prospects in relation to your marketing message? Now remember, engagement is derived from value addition. If all you do all day is say, hey, look at me, come buy my stuff, I'm great, I'm the lowest price person in the business, yada, 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 you're not going to get a lot of engagement. It's just, bah, 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 bah. You don't want that. What you want is to be able to have meaningful conversation, be able to be authentic, transparent, and be able to show you understand where the other fellow's coming from and that you have the ability to solve their needs. This involves thought and it involves strategy to know what to create and how to disseminate this knowledge. And this is especially true when we're dealing with complex products. Complex products with higher risk, higher capital investment. That means that we have to make sure the customer makes the right decision the first time around. And the customer has a lot of people who are looking at them to make sure that they made the right decision. So 2 more questions in this first stage. You know, we're still in stage number 1. And that is, do you know what the Net Promoter Score is of your customers and the transactions that they have completed with you? If you don't know what the word Net Promoter Score is, I encourage you to go and Google it. It ultimately is giving you an idea of how many people are ultimately advocates for your brand, or promoters, are neutral or are taking away from your brand, the detractors, and understanding the difference between promoters and detractors. I've talked about this in other videos. Take a look at it. You need to be doing this per transaction for your business so that you have a way of benchmarking if you're getting better or not getting better. And another thing I'd like to ask you about is how many joint venture partners do you have today that are involved and enthusiastically sharing your message, promoting your message, earning a commission for helping you gain business? Another way of saying this is how many referral partners do you have that are your people on the street that are willing to say good things about you and help facilitate the sales process. So everything that I've just covered so far is stage 1 in your present condition. Stage 2 is all about your future condition, where it is that you want to go. So based on getting some good answers for those questions, and a good answer, by the way, is a thoughtful answer. If you don't have an answer for something, then that's fine. Then you know that's one of the check mark items on your list that you want to move forward on and being able to answer that moving forward. So now what I want to ask you, and this is a little bit more of a bigger picture kind of a question, but what is the purpose of your business and your product? You got to get really clear on that. Why are you in business? And I'll give you a clue. To generate a profit is not the why. It's the outcome of serving customers. You're in business to serve customers, to solve problems, to make customers and acquire customers. And your payment for doing this is, of course, the profit you generate. But what's the bigger why you're doing what you're doing? Are you doing this just because it's something you just stumbled into, or is it something that you really feel passionate about? And do the people in your organization understand this purpose? What's the vision for your product, your solution, your company? Where are you headed? Where are you going to be in 3 or 5 years? And it's important that not only you know this, but every employee that works with you knows this, because unless everybody is committed to the same direction and all pulling their weight in the same direction, it's unlikely that you're going to get there, or if you do, you're going to get there despite yourself. The next key area is your strategy. We've been talking about some of these high-level aspects from a current assessment standpoint. We have a lot more to cover, but let me ask you, when you think about the vision that you have for your business and how you want to drive transformation in the hearts and minds of your customers and the companies you work with, how are you going about doing it? How are you differentiating yourself in the marketplace? And what's the timeline for you to get there over the next 90 days, 6 months, 9 months, and a year? Now, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, and you could just easily just listen to this, or you can stop and pause and rewind and start taking some notes if you're not already, because the real value of you watching this is really being able to ask yourself these questions and answer it and do a lot of introspection, because that's what I'm here to help you with. I'm here to help you gain a different view, different context, and different perspective on your business. So as we are kind of wrapping up this piece, I want to just also talk a little bit about resources. It's great to have a purpose and a strategy and a vision, but what are the resources that you have that are really available and dedicated to helping you expand your footprint in the marketplace? And what skills do they have today? What are they lacking in terms of both employees and contractors that you're working with? Some of the skills that I think are going to be really important for you as you start to implement and put in play a lot of the ideas we're talking about over these videos is, number one, project management. You need to have somebody on the team that knows how to keep a project on target and knows how to track parallel and serial tasks with milestones and so forth. Number two, you need to have strong product marketing, product management, being able to articulate the right message at the right time with the right media, being able to create the right solution that maps to customer requirements. From a content marketing standpoint, you're going to need to have people on your team that can create great content that is in tune with the marketing message that adds value to your customers. I'm going to suggest that you also expand the content creation team with some video editing skill sets. You can find folks online that can be contractors for you to help you with video editing. I'm creating a video right now for you. It's not as hard as you may think it is, and it's amazingly effective. It's just incredible. I mean, where else can you get eyeball to eyeball with somebody in a virtual space and be able to connect with somebody? It's not the same as audio. It's not the same as text. Text is great, but video combined with text is really powerful. The next area is copywriting and editing. The way you say what you say from a marketing standpoint is oh so important. And I really want to encourage you that as you create the messaging, you really are working with people who can help you say what you need to say in a persuasive manner. There's a lot we could go into here, but we're not going to in this video. Web design and search engine optimization, making it easy for people to find you online and having an attractive website that nurtures your prospects with great content, which we're going to be talking about. So some of the tools you're going to need. You're going to need some type of a marketing automation software platform. You're going to need the ability to keep track of the likes and dislikes of your customers and your interactions with them through customer relationship management software. You're going to need the ability to create lead pages so that you can capture leads. There's lots of great tools in the marketplace. I personally really like Infusionsoft. It's a tool that I've spent some time on. I'm certified on that platform. There are others that are in the marketplace as well, like Ontraport. There's higher end solutions like Eloqua if you're in a big enterprise. I also like leadpages.net, great solution for easily creating lead pages. There's another one by Kajabi called, what's it called? I just forgot it now. Geez, it's going to come back to it. Megaphone app. Sorry, Megaphone app. That's the name of that application. And you're also going to need customer support systems in place. So this video that I've covered so far is laying the groundwork. It's part one, the current assessment. We've covered your present condition, your future conditions. We've talked about the tactics and tools that you're going to need to really dive into. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move into phase number 2, which is all about attracting hungry buyers who are so excited to buy from you, they are prioritizing buying from you in their day. So let's look at that in the next video. Until then, have an awesome day and start to put into play what I've been talking about so far. Take some notes, put some action items together if you don't have answers to the questions I've asked you so far. If you want to reach out and connect with me, if you need a little bit of help, let me know and someone from my team will be in touch and we can be able to go through that process and see if there's a way in which I can help you. All right, let's take a look at the next video.